Howdy. Today we will be taking a look at Transformers Legacy Blitzwing. This figure is a modern interpretation of his appearance in the original Generation 1 cartoon. This figure comes with two purple blasters, a sword, and two dark energon hand weapon things. I don't really know what to call them. In his robot mode, Blitzwing looks pretty good. The figure is reasonably articulated. It's missing some articulation on the feet, like tilting forward and back on the feet, but I think the kibble is pretty minimal, and there's really nice weapon storage. I really appreciate on the back how, if you align the blasters correctly, they seem to fit right into a series of notches that were seemingly made for them. Now, let's talk about the obvious. These hand cannons, yeah, let's call it that. These hand cannons are kind of goofy looking, and believe it or not, they're actually made for each side of the figure. They're not just symmetrical. There are little notches carved in the back of the hand cannons that you have to slide the inner arm panel into for it to line up. If you don't do that, they won't be able to be held by the hand because the peg on the inside is really short. Otherwise, I think this figure looks beautiful in robot mode, and I think they did a really good job updating the original Generation 1 aesthetic and bringing it into the modern Legacy toy line. Here's how Leader Class Blitzwing scales with Deluxe Class Deep Cover, Voyager Class Sweep, and Leader Class Grimlock. Here's how Leader Class Blitzwing scales with Transformers Animated Voyager Class Blitzwing. In his first vehicle mode, Blitzwing is a tank. In his tank mode, Blitzwing looks really good. Again, I think they did a pretty good job updating the original Generation 1 style and bringing it into the modern Legacy era. Now, again, please note that this is inspired by Generation 1, so obviously you're not going to see real jet thrusters on an actual tank, and you're also not going to see a pseudo-jet cockpit on the front of a tank. That just seems like a massive weak point, but at any rate, I think this figure looks good. I think one of my biggest issues in the tank mode is that the barrel of the tank turret is kind of fixed into one or two positions. It kind of soft locks into horizontal or up in the air like this, so you can probably get a good recreation of Cup holding it up in the air, saving Hot Rod in the original movie. And again, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Although at this point, I really don't think these rocket pods look all that bad. I think they are neat, but again, I'm not entirely sure they were necessary to include with this figure. Overall, I think the tank mode looks pretty good. Here's how Leader Class Blitzwing scales with Deluxe Class Deep Cover, Voyager Class Artfire, and Leader Class Laser Optimus Prime. Here's how Leader Class Blitzwing scales with Transformers Animated Voyager Class Blitzwing. In his second vehicle mode, Blitzwing is a jet. In his jet mode, Blitzwing doesn't look that bad. Am I coping? At any rate, I think the top of the jet mode looks very good, and Hasbro made a great job at marketing just the top of this figure. However, this figure is three-dimensional, and as you can see, the tank treads really do stick out on the bottom. Now, I'm not an engineer, yet, but I feel like there probably should have been a way that the tank treads collapsed better than this. I mean, again, I don't know if I'm coping, but I don't think it actually looks that bad. But if you look at it from the bottom, then yeah, it definitely looks that bad. And once again, for the last time, those giant energon hand cannon rocket pod things, I have no idea what they're doing on the back of this jet mode. You can call them giant thrusters, but then again, calling them giant thrusters is kind of like calling this a jet. It's passable. Here's how Leader Class Blitzwing scales with Deluxe Class Deep Cover, Voyager Class Artfire, and Leader Class Laser Optimus Prime. Here's how Leader Class Blitzwing scales with Transformers Animated Voyager Class Blitzwing. I hope you've enjoyed this brief look at Transformers Legacy Blitzwing. If there are any other figures you'd like me to take a look at next, leave a comment down below. And as always, I'm Leo, reminding you that plastic toys don't belong in plastic prisons. See you next time.